Hello, everybody that's joining our open house. So is anybody else I need to admit? And we'll go ahead and get started. It is going to be more of an open house format where people can join as they please. So I will be watching the waiting room and admitting throughout the discussion. Can everybody see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you. Basically, this is our Transform Climate Communities open house. I am Cecilia Griego with the City of Bakersfield. We've kind of dedicated this hour so people can come, find out about the program, ask questions. It is being recorded so we can have a record. And I ask, we're kind of going to use the chat as our sign-in sheet. So it'd be great if you can put your name and who you represent, if you represent, or you can just say you're resident business owner or whatever you feel comfortable with. That way we can, just show the number of participants in this. That would be great. I just wanted to highlight, we're just going to use the raise your hand feature where you go, for those that are in Zoom, you go in the participants. And there's an icon where you can raise your hand. And then for those of you on the phone, you can hit *9 to raise your hand, and then you hit *6 to unmute your phone. Is there any Spanish speakers here? You can raise your hand now. That'd be helpful to know ahead of time because we do have somebody here who can help interpret. Okay. So we have one Spanish speaker. Okay, good to know. We have Emma here with the Leadership Council who can help help with questions in Spanish. So I'll see if there's anybody else coming in. I'll go ahead and we'll start letting people raise their hands, and I'll just kind of call them as I see them. So do we have, anybody want to go first?
Good morning, Cecilia. Good morning, everyone. Sorry, did you do the first slide already?
Yeah, I just kind of went through the first slide. I don't know if you want to go ahead and say it in Spanish.
Yes, I will.
We do have one person raise their hand that they're a Spanish speaker. So if you want to go ahead and go everything, and also let them know if there's anybody on the phone. I don't see any phone people, I think, but if we do have anybody on the phone that can hit, let them know they can hit *9 to raise their hand and then *6 to unmute.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Bienvenidos a todos. Estamos haciendo una exposición abierta sobre el programa de comunidades climáticas transformadoras, que incluye las comunidades de Lakeview, Sunset, Oleander y Old Town Kern y el centro de Bakersfield. Este programa tiene el potencial de traer millones de dólares aquí a la ciudad de Bakersfield. Y los programas, los proyectos tienen que ser dirigidos y desarrollados por la comunidad. Y entonces este momento es para dar preguntas sobre el programa, a decir comentarios, lo que quieran decir sobre el programa. Es para que tengamos un momento de aprender más y de cómo podemos involucrarnos en el programa y también estar al corriente de todo lo que va a suceder moviendo adelante. So, si gustan, pueden levantar la mano para decir sus preguntas, o si están en el teléfono, pueden levantar la mano ingresando *9, o solamente se pueden poner en altavoz ingresando *6.
All right, thank you, Emma. All right, so great. I see people putting their names in the chat. Thank you. Yeah, we're using the chat kind of as our um, a sign-in sheet. So I see so one person has a problem with their mic. So they're, yeah, if you do have, you know, if you aren't planning to raise your hand and use, if you do want to add some comments in the chat, we'll probably, I prefer not to ask questions, but if you just want to do general comments, because we only have an hour time and I wanted to just answer people's questions as best I can verbally. And so we'll kind of do it that way. And I'll just kind of, maybe at the last 5 minutes, I'll cruise the chat if there's any questions. We'll get started. I'll look and pull up my participants and see if there's any hands raised.
Ok, so Cecilia dice que va, ella les sugiere a todos que pregunten preguntas o si tienen comentarios, pero igual también pueden meter sus preguntas o comentarios en el chat y ella al final va a revisar el chat. If I may, Cecilia, give a quick update as to why we're starting to do more outreach now.
Sure, yeah. I don't know if those of you who are not familiar, we did do some, you know, during COVID, we did do some outreach, you know, but you know, we just didn't reach as many people as we should have. It was just, you know, very constricted, just using the virtual format was, yeah, so we were given an opportunity by the Street Growth Council to do more outreach, try to reach those more in the community and in our focus area. So they gave us an opportunity to do a second round, and we're doing both virtual and in person. And we had our first in-person event yesterday, and we had 29 people, which is awesome. So we're hoping to just reach more and more, and hopefully by our next event, we can have even more. So, but we also wanted to keep a virtual format going because I think it worked. That is accommodating to hopefully reach even more people who maybe aren't completely comfortable going in person quite yet. So we wanted to give an opportunity for both. And this is just the start. We hope to have at least 2 events each month for the next 3 months. So we'll definitely, if you put your email in addition to your name, put your email in the chat. If we don't already have you on our contact list, we will definitely add you so you can get notified of those future events. And I do see Empress. If you have a question. You're muted if you want to.
If I may.
Sure. Just say in Spanish. Yeah, if you want to go ahead and say it in Spanish, go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry, pues really quickly, just want to translate. Okay, so estamos aquí porque hubo presentaciones al principio de cuando empezó COVID, pero por el COVID no se pudo hacer demasiado outreach en la comunidad. No pudimos involucrar tanto a la comunidad porque no pudimos estar afuera, pero gracias al Estado, Strategic Growth Council, ellos dieron una extensión a la ciudad para que se pudiera colectar más opiniones e ideas para proyectos de la comunidad, igual que el Estado escuchó las preocupaciones de la comunidad y por esa razón ellos dieron la extensión para que puedan dar sus comentarios e ideas para los proyectos. Thank you.
Empress, did you have a question?
I wanted to make a comment on yesterday's open house that I thought it was really well done and it's great. Can you hear me?
You're kind of fuzzy.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can hear you for the most part. It's just a little broken up.
So yesterday was great.
Oh, awesome.
I thought it was a great space for in-depth discussion. And I left there feeling much more satisfied than in the past. And I felt motivated to really start trying to spread the word. It was a great, it was great, Cecilia, and it was good meeting you and
Oh,
talking
yeah.
with you.
I enjoyed it so much. I love, yeah, I mean, this is a complex program, and I think those in-depth discussions is really what's needed. And I really appreciate the time you spent, and I'm really excited to working with you and and other community members to really help people get excited about this program and the opportunities it can bring. And so, yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm glad you were happy.
Pues comparte que estaba muy contenta con el evento de ayer, que pues ella piensa que fue muy bien organizado y que la ha motivado para hacer, para involucrar y invitar más a gente de la comunidad a este proyecto.
Anybody else have a comment or questions? Just use your raise your hand. Anybody just totally new to CCC and just, or, okay, well, okay, Mr. Cohen, Adam Cohen.
Hi, Cecilia. Thank you for your work on this. I was hoping you could possibly share some of the changes that have occurred from the last open house that occurred during, I guess it was January, February timeframe that was held over Zoom. Can you kind of talk about some of the changes the city has made to the plan, if any?
We have not made any changes yet. Our intent is to do this outreach and get more insight and feedback on the project. So yeah, another draft plan won't be out until after this outreach is complete.
Okay, so then a follow-up question to that. If your goal is to revise the plan in response to feedback to those projects, I was not able to attend yesterday's open house, but so far today, I don't see any presentation. I see some folks that weren't here previously at the last webinar or Zoom meeting. So my question is how would they know what projects were in the original plan to be able to provide feedback on?
We're just introducing people to TCC again. There's a lot of new things, a lot of new players, and the next workshops we're going to start talking about projects, but with this first kind of phase 2 kickoff of the outreach, there's just so, like you said, there's so many new people that are like, what's TCC? What is it about? What we wanted to keep it very broad and general and just introduce people to it, the concept really, and the opportunity, and understand what this opportunity is. So that's really what all we covered yesterday too. We did not talk about specific projects. We did have some boards where we talked about the, which listed the type of products to be covered, and we had people put sticky notes with their ideas and thoughts. So maybe for this one, if you do guys have ideas or thoughts about projects that you can fund with this program, put them in the chat. I don't mind going over just what we showed yesterday. I'll go ahead, and I do have one slide. I can click through just a few slides real briefly, about 3, just highlighting the types of projects that can be funded, just so for the benefit of those who are new here, since those, and that's all we're really doing. And then so they're open house formats. It's just to get people to ask questions and to have a more casual conversation. The next focused ones will be more of a workshop where we can have discussions about projects.
I'm going to go ahead and translate all of that. El señor Adam pregunta qué fue la respuesta de todo el comentario y las opiniones que habían dado a la comunidad en enero, febrero. Cecilia contestó que esto es lo que resultó, que fue la extensión y que ahora se va a hacer más, se está colectando más opiniones e ideas para proyectos para que se incluya en el plan final que se va a ser mandado al Estado. Ahorita, si recuerdan, si estuvieron en las juntas anteriores, sí hubo un plan que fue desarrollado por la ciudad, pero ese plan recibió muchas críticas de la comunidad que después fue revisado por el Estado, por cuál razón dieron la extensión para que la comunidad pueda desarrollar un plan del que la comunidad esté de acuerdo y que apoyen. Entonces, Aram preguntó después de que aquí ve que solamente es un puro slide, solamente un puro gráfico de la presentación, que entonces como la comunidad va a poder dar información o opiniones sobre los proyectos. Y Cecilia dice que ahorita es un momento para aprender solamente sobre el programa y dar preguntas, pero después los talleres que van a seguir después de van a ser más enfocados en los proyectos.
You got it?
Yeah, I think it'd be good to go over the actual
The
program.
potential. Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll go ahead and do that. Just to give you the highlights, these are some, I'm going to skip through to some information boards we had. Hold on, let me minimize that real quick. Why isn't it working? Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. Can you guys see that? So sorry I don't have all of these in Spanish, but Emma can repeat them for me. Basically, we just showed some potential housing and anti-displacement strategies. One of the things that TCC wants us to see, affordable housing is one of the fundable projects. And they also want to see that we're assisting existing homeowners and doing some anti-displacement strategies. So these are the list of what we currently have in our draft plan. So we wanted to get some feedback on these strategies, if they had any additional ideas or maybe support they think homeowners need or current residents. So these are just what we had shown. Do you want to do a quick overview of this one, Emma?
Ok, so una de las estrategias que debe incluir este programa es de que no debe de mover a la gente, ¿verdad? Si hay un proyecto que están considerando, no debe de mover a las personas que actualmente viven en ese lugar. So, este programa, este plan necesita estrategias para evitar eso. Entonces, aquí ven, la información que está escrita aquí es la información que fue dada ayer en el evento. Tuvimos carteles con esta información y la gente podía dar sus recomendaciones sobre cada de estas estrategias. So, la primera dice que esa primera estrategia da un camino a ser dueño de una casa y las ideas allí incluyen a dar asistencia financiera y también como asesoramiento financiero para la comunidad y también dar comprar terrenos y que sean donde la comunidad sean propietarios. Segundo, tenemos aquí que los proyectos tienen que asegurar que las viviendas son asequibles, que son de bajos ingresos para que todos podamos pagar por una casa. Y una de las estrategias allí es la rehabilitación de los hogares que actualmente están. Igual que también si hay una casa detrás de otra, que esas casas se puedan tener sus permisos y que estén bien hechos para que puedan contar como una casa. Otra idea es dar solar comunitario y para incrementar las viviendas aquí en la comunidad, como había dicho, las casas que están detrás de otras, poderles dar sus permisos, igual que dar tratar de empujar a los desarrolladores de casas para que hagan más casas y también hacerles más fácil el proceso para que se sientan motivados de construir más hogares. Y como había dicho, no puede, este programa tiene que asegurarse que la comunidad no sea mudada de sus lugares. Entonces pueden dar asistencia de emergencia para los que estén viendo el desalojo o dar o desarrollar un programa donde la gente pueda donde la gente pueda recibir servicios para que tengan un hogar rápido y beneficios para mudarse si se necesita.
All right, thank you, Emma. And the next one we had was on mobility and urban greening. So we just showed what we currently have in the plan and our potential projects that we could add to the plan as well. And also to get people's feedback. Again, in addition, next to this, we had people put sticky notes on their ideas and suggestions on projects.
So I'm seeing some comments, which I think they're very good questions, and we can get to them in a second. Veo que hay preguntas y son muy buenas preguntas, pero ahorita después de esto las contestamos. Otra parte de este programa es incrementar la movilidad y también y lugares verdes para la comunidad. Entonces, proyectos que son elegibles para este programa incluyen como lugares donde pueda uno guardar sus bicicletas o si tiene uno un patín o lo que sea, o a lo mejor estaciones de agua para motivar a la comunidad que caminen o que usen otros métodos de transportación. Y también mejorar las conexiones de la comunidad a donde trabajan para que igual sea más fácil, más rápido de que puedan llegar a los lugares. Este programa se enfoca en reducir la contaminación del aire, por eso se enfoca mucho en la transportación activa. Y igual también porque queremos motivar a la comunidad de usar el tránsito como el autobús. Estos programas pueden fundar autobuses que estén yendo en círculo para que puedan puedan ir a diferentes lugares y que sea más rápido. También puede fundar como infraestructura para dar sombra en los lugares de los autobuses. Igual también puede mejorar las banquetas, hacer más árboles para que haya más lugares verdes, para que sea más fresco y también para que las plantas puedan ayudar en limpiar el aire. Y aquí también está escrito que el parque de línea de Mill Creek, también la extensión de eso es una opción.
Okay. Before I go to the next slide, Adam, you have another question?
Cecilia, I just had a comment. My understanding from what I read in the newspaper is that the Kern Taxpayers Association had developed a urban greening plan that was approved from KernCog. So I'm not sure if some of those components could be incorporated into this since it's already basically approved to allow, for kind of laddering funding together.
Well, yeah, I hadn't heard of that plan. So if you can share that, maybe do a link to it or email it to me, that would be great. We can definitely look at it and see if there's anything that could work with this plan. No problem.
Yeah, I think Mike Turnipseed's on the line. He might have more information. If not, I'm sure he can probably send something over.
Okay.
Adam preguntó dijo que en la asociación de taxpayers, ellos desarrollaron un plan para los lugares verdes, que ellos piensan que a lo mejor puede ser un proyecto para este programa. Cecilia dijo que ella no sabía de ese proyecto y entonces le sugiere que mande su información para que puedan compartir esa idea.
All right, and just real quick, the last slide.
I'd like to say something.
Sure.
The KernCax introduced a urban trails plan to the city about 3 years ago, I think. And it went all the way from west of Cal State, clear east, past, I think, the road to Lamont, and north and south, and in the southeast. There were, I know, at least 1 or 2 parts of the trail plan that was located there. And I know that in the COG, multimodal transportation plan, or whatever that's called, Adam knows that better than I do. A great number of our projects that we submitted as part of that comprehensive plan were in and adopted in the city of Bakersfield's 10-year plan. And we think some of those projects could be funded with TCC. So how does, and we didn't see any of these in the city's project. We know the city has taken projects from other sources, like from a downtown visioning process and the process for high-speed rail on S Street. So I guess we need to ask, how do we get our trails plan through disadvantaged communities incorporated into the TCC proposal?
Actually, we did review both the Kern Cog's active transportation plan and regional transportation plan, and both of those were included in our mobility chapter as possible fundable projects. I think they were only shown in a map, but I think we can probably get more detailed project descriptions added. So, and we also reviewed the city's bike plan, and then also the city recently completed a bike and ped safety plan. And there are projects on those that we did add to our list. I think I added, there are about 4 of them in the project focus area that I added. And a couple of them could be potential leverage projects because they are already, the city's already asking to have them funded through our active transportation program. So yeah, we did look at all of the relevant plans and have them and evaluated them in the draft plan. So if they have any more, yeah, if you, this other one you're talking about.
Cecilia, it's part of the Kern Cog active transportation plan.
Okay,
and so
we looked at that, yeah.
There's a map, but then there's also a series of like 4 or 5 tables that like outline particular segments that are in the project area.
Yeah, we looked at those. We included them in our mobility map on our draft plan.
But
Okay.
We will add more detailed. We just didn't get it detailed. The point of the draft was to be broad and to talk about general concepts. And then the intent was the next iteration was to add in the implementation chapter the detailed projects that fit under those broad concepts. So yeah, we just didn't get a chance to go there yet, but now we can do that hopefully more successfully and have a draft plan with the intent is to include a roadmap of potential projects with more details information.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and translate that really quickly. Thank you. So el señor Turnipseed él dio una descripción sobre los programas de caminos que van desde la escuela de Causter hasta Castilamón y él quiere saber cómo se puede incluir esos proyectos en el plan. Y Aram también le clarificó que ese plan del que ellos están refiriendo están en el plan de el cónsul de los lugares del condado de Kern. Entonces, dice Cecilia que esos proyectos, esas ideas sí estaban incluidos en el capítulo de movimiento en el plan, pero no se pudo dar tanta descripción en el capítulo 5 de la implementación. Y ahora tenemos la oportunidad de hacerlo. If I can chime in really quickly, so it seems like there's all of these really cool ideas out there, and now really this is the opportunity, thanks to the extension, for anyone here who has a project idea to submit that project idea. How is that submission project submission process looking like? I'm not too sure. I think that's something that we need to develop along with city staff and partners so that everyone knows which projects are going in and are up for consideration, because ultimately there has to be a community vetting process. Everyone needs to decide which projects they want to prioritize, which projects should get how much funding. And if you have a plan already developed and that you'd like to submit, please have it ready, and feel free to give us input as to how you think the submission process should look like, so that we can ensure that it is transparent, right? Leadership Council, that's our main goal, is to make sure that the process is transparent and that everyone has a say as to which projects are funded. So ahorita lo que le estaba diciendo es que si tienen ideas de proyectos, este es el momento de dar sus ideas, porque gracias a la extensión se pueden desarrollar esas ideas, se pueden platicar, y la idea y la meta es de que este proceso sea transparente, que todos sepan qué proyectos están para consideración de la comunidad, y al final del día la comunidad tiene la oportunidad de priorizar los proyectos que van a estar incluidos en el plan.
Thank you, Emma. And I just want to add, I see Christian has a question, and before I get to her, I just want to add real quick, we can't do everything at every meeting. So the intent is to just answer questions, get people familiar with TCC again. The next meetings, we're going to start discussing projects and ideas for projects, and I already have a process of way people can create projects and submit them. So I already have a template started that I'm going to share at the next workshop. Talk about the potential projects. We're going to get more into those project details coming up. But again, with this initial open house, it was just to get people familiar with TCC again, understand the program if they have questions about it, what it's for, what the goals are, just people, it's a very comprehensive program, and there's a lot, everybody who wants to be a participant and part of the process really needs to understand where the goals are, so they can, understand, so they can hopefully, if they have ideas for projects, they can work towards making them a viable project that can get funded. So, and there's a lot of steps to make any project proposed to be a viable project, and we're going to go over those details in the meetings to come. But it's like I said, there's just a lot of detail, and I didn't want to cram all this information. I rather just address people's questions, concerns right now, and then and that's it. I don't know if Emma, you want to do a quick interpretation, and then I'll let Kristen answer a question.
Dice Cecilia que no se puede hacer todo en una junta, pero el propósito de la junta de hoy era para hacer preguntas, dar comentarios y informarse más que nada sobre el programa del TCC. Más luego habrán oportunidades para hablar sobre los proyectos, habrán talleres donde se pueden mandar los proyectos, y ella tiene un proceso del que va a compartir para la otra junta cuando hablemos más de los proyectos.
So Kristen, did you have a question?
Hi, Cecilia. Yeah, thank you. So I was kind of wondering if there is a time frame or timeline associated with the funding opportunity and what that looks like.
Sure, good question. Basically, what we know right now is the state just funded 3 more rounds of funding of TCC in their current state budget. So we won't really know until they release their next draft guidelines for the funding. We anticipate, the soonest that would probably be this fall. And in there, they would have a more detailed timeline of when they expect, to release their notice that the funding's available. I'm guessing probably sometime next spring, but these are just, we're on kind of at the mercy of the state. So we'll just see, but that's my best guess. But they did fund, the state funded $420 million for the next 3 years. And that's all the detail I know. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Okay, thank you.
Christine pregunta qué es la cronología y los fondos que están disponibles para el programa. Cecilia dice que ahorita tenemos que esperar al Estado. Sí sabe que 3 comunidades recibieron fondos del Estado, que recibieron casi 420 millones de dólares, y entonces tenemos que esperar para lo que siga. Si el Estado va a dar sus regulaciones del programa, y ahí después vamos a ver cómo va a seguir el siguiente paso para recibir más fondos.
Okay, and there's somebody on their iPhone who has a question, their hands raised.
Hola, buenas.
I think she froze.
¿Cuándo es la siguiente junta?
Ok, pregunto que cuándo es la siguiente junta.
Por Zoom, ¿verdad?
Creo que vamos a tener más de una. Pero esa fue toda su pregunta porque se desconectó un ratito. Okay. She wants to know when is the next meeting.
Right now we're looking at late August. We don't have a date set. I hope to have a date finalized early next week. So it'll be sometime the last 2 weeks of August.
In person or on Zoom?
They'll be both.
Ok, la junta va a ser al últimos de agosto. No tenemos todavía una fecha, pero va a ser a lo mejor los 2 últimos semanas de agosto. Y van a ser las juntas en persona y por Zoom. Si gusta, por favor, de poner su número de teléfono en el chat, si puede, para que así podamos seguir conectándonos con usted.
Muy bien, muchas gracias.
Number.
Yo lo-
Okay.
You good? Okay. I don't see any more questions right now. I'll just quick do an overview of this last slide I had pulled up. This was the last kind of focus area of the plan. One of the things TCC wants to see is a strong, programming into both supporting small business and supporting workforce development. And these are the strategies we currently have in our draft plan to help support this. So we got, again, if you have any things you want to drop in the chat, have comments, suggestions in this area of the plan, that would be great too. And then, like, again, in the following meetings, we're going to get more into the details, into the weeds about the possibilities of these types of programming.
Ok, otra estrategia que debe de fundar este programa es las estrategias de desarrollo económico y de la fuerza laboral. Aquí en la pantalla incluyen estrategias que están ahorita en el plan marco del programa, que incluyen ayudas y apoyos para los negocios pequeños. También dar fondos gratuitos para los negocios pequeños y dar entrenamiento de cómo correr una compañía o un negocio. Igual también de dar ayuda para terminar la escuela, la high school, ganar su GED y recibir entrenamientos y certificados y programas para entender el inglés, igual que también ayudar con cuidados de niños y asistencia para buscar trabajo y entrenamiento vocacional. Todas estas son estrategias, pero lo que ahora se necesita son proyectos que puedan ayudar a traer estas estrategias en vida, porque ahorita solamente están escritas como pues una estrategia, pero la verdad es que se necesita el programa, el proyecto del que va a hacer esto venir a vida. I just added there that, as Cecilia mentioned, these are strategies, and what we really need to see now are projects that will meet these strategies and help bring these strategies come to life. We need something tangible that will get these ideas going.
Okay, great. And then we have Empress has another question. And she still needs to unmute. You need to unmute yourself. Did you have another question, Empress, or did you do it? Maybe she's having technology issues. We'll get back to her. Anybody else have any questions? I don't see any raised. Oh, Frederick?
I was frozen.
Oh, you were frozen? Okay. Oh, you can go, and then you can go ahead, Empress, and then we'll go to Frederick has his hand raised next.
Okay, I know, I'm sounding fuzzy, and I hope this gets through. I just wanted again to make a comment about the park yesterday
Mhm.
and how great MLK Park looked. It was well manicured. All the trash was picked up. It had a peaceful environment. And I just want to thank whoever is responsible for the park appearing that way, and that it gives us hope for what the future in regards to the programs and the funding that is going to be given to keep things looking that way and improving, so that it becomes the park, or that area becomes what it once was, attains its former greatness once again. It was beautiful to walk through that park. And I know that Emma was out there engaging with people in the park and inviting them in. And I do feel that she hopefully will agree that it wasn't difficult to be out there and talking to people with the park appearance. I just wanted to get that in.
Thank you. I'll definitely pass that on to our Parks and Rec department, and I know it was all them, so I'll let them know.
I've been concerned with the city spending on parks for ever since we passed Measure N and the spending priorities of the city. It was Palm Sunday. I called the mayor because I was driving. Actually, I drove around the day before looking at some parks on a Saturday, and we met on Palm Sunday. And she literally called the parks director from the park that day because it was such a mess, and she was embarrassed. We spent there an hour and a half there, and she was talking to the homeless people, and she toured the bathrooms. She was from one end to the other, and I live on the east side. I make a little tour around there a couple times a week to look at the park, and I agree with Emperor's. The park looks 100 times better than it did 3 or 4 months ago. And when I went by the other day, I didn't see any parks trucks, but on many mornings there are 2 or 3 parks department trucks there and an army of people working on things. So if you want to thank somebody for cleaning up the park and lighting the fire, it was the mayor. And she made the necessary phone calls to get people's attention that it was unacceptable that a city park looks so unkept. So I'm going to send the mayor a bill for $20 for the promotion, but she really deserves the situation that she did it, because she stepped up, and in that particular day, she put 4 people in the new navigation center. She called Flood Ministries. They made contacts, and they put 4 people in the center that day. So she had a very long list of accomplishments. So next time you see the mayor, you want to thank her. If you want to support parks, she's your advocate. But she's very busy elsewhere, so you have to get her attention.
Thank you, Michael. Go ahead and do a quick interpretation, Emma.
Empress dio gracias porque el parque ayer estaba muy limpio, muy lleno de paz, y ella estaba muy contenta de que el parque se miraba de esa manera y quería dar sus gracias. Igual Michael Turnipseed dijo lo mismo, de que la mayor, no me acuerdo cómo se dice en español, pero ella tuvo que ver con la limpieza del parque, entonces él también le quiere dar las gracias a ella.
Thank you. And Mr. Frederick?
Thank you. This is my first time being introduction to TCC. I was not able to make it to the open house yesterday, but this has been very informative here today. And my question is just really simple. I'd just like to know if there is a way to have a copy of this recording emailed to me so
It,
that I can.
it'll be put on our website, bakersfieldtccplan.org. All of our community meetings have been recorded and are there. So it's a good way you can rewatch them, and we have a lot more background in some of those on TCC. So I encourage you to watch them, but we'll definitely be posting this one as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mhm. Any other questions?
El
Or we
señor,
can go to the chat.
el señor acaba de decir que él es nuevo al programa y quiere saber si esta presentación va a ser proveída a la comunidad. Dijo Cecilia que sí, este video va a estar en el sitio de web con los otros talleres que fueron también grabados.
I don't mind going to the chat. If Emma said there are some good comments there, I can read them out, or I just want to see real quick if there's anybody who wants to raise their hand and talk. I want to give them that opportunity. I don't see any. I'll go ahead and open the chat and see what's in there. Looks pretty busy. Yeah, and if anybody hasn't put their name, I'm kind of using the chat as our sign-in sheet as well. So if you want to put your name, or if you represent an organization or a business, or you're just a resident, or you just want to put your neighborhood's name, that works too. It helps us to know who we've reached and that we were successful in reaching who as many people as possible. Let me see.
Si tienen preguntas, por favor de preguntar, y si pueden, por favor, de incluir su número para que podamos estar conectados con ustedes.
There is one comment that somebody would like to see the canal, the Mill Creek Canal Park extended. That is on our list of projects, so that will be available for discussion when we meet next. So
hay un comentario de que quieren que se vea la extensión de Mill Creek Park. Dice Cecilia que ese es uno de los proyectos que va a ser incluido en el plan.
I have one person being concerned about affordable housing. The city does do affordable housing citywide. Affordable housing is just one of those things that can be funded under this program, but again, that is a project that can be further discussed in future meetings. So I don't know if you guys recently saw a news article. There's a new housing project in the Northeast that just opened up. So yeah, there is affordable housing throughout the city.
And just to, okay, let me translate. So aquí hay una preocupación sobre las viviendas accesibles, y las viviendas es uno de los proyectos que puede ser fundado con este programa, recientemente hubo unas noticias de las viviendas que van a ser abiertas para ser accesibles, que son de bajos ingresos. I think just to add to that, the concern about it, the concern is that TCC is going to be used as a dumping ground for low-income and homeless housing in Southeast Bakersfield, and affordable housing should be citywide. So that's a very valid concern. And this program, along with any other programs, must affirmatively further fair housing. So that means that if the plan was to include solely low-income housing in just one area, known that's already for being impoverished, then that would not be furthering fair housing. So that's something that the plan should not include. So as we go through this process, if you see something that's happening, if you see a plan or a strategy that you believe is not furthering fair housing, then please call it out. Suggest another way of addressing it, because yeah, that's a valid concern, and we don't want that to happen, right? We want to make sure that affordable housing is built throughout the city, and especially in high opportunity areas. And the city has the responsibility to do that. So we'll, as we go through the process, as I said, we could just, keep that into consideration. So acabo de decir que la preocupación es de que el programa TCC va a ser usado para solamente poner casas de bajos ingresos en un puro lugar donde la gente ya está pobre, en vez de poner hogares en diferentes lugares de la ciudad. Y lo que acabo de decir es que eso es una preocupación válida, ¿verdad? Pero la ciudad en cada programa tienen la responsabilidad de asegurar viviendas justas. Y eso incluye de que si la ciudad tiene un plan de poner casas en un puro lugar donde ya está concentrado de bajos ingresos, eso no es hacer viviendas justas. Eso se tiene que poner en todos lados. Entonces, ya que vamos en el proceso, tener todo eso en consideración. Si ustedes piensan que no están avanzando las viviendas justas, decir que eso no está bien y dar su preocupación y su comentario.
Thank
Sí,
you. And,
perdón,
sorry,
yo
a
tengo un
question?
comentario.
Sí.
Sorry. Sí, yo estoy muy de acuerdo con ella porque solamente el gobierno hace divisiones que para mí no son justas. Pone parques muy buenos en áreas buenas, claro que sí, pero no pone viviendas. Y yo creo que todos merecemos vivir bien en donde quiera que estemos. Entonces, pues estoy de acuerdo con eso de que pongan viviendas de bajos recursos en áreas también bien, como le dijera, bien organizadas ya. Porque aquí estamos en una área donde ya se está construyendo casas, pero no se ha visto dónde está el parque. Aquí estamos estando en un lugar donde se va a construir un área, una high school, y no se ve que haya un lugar para recreacional después de escuela para esos muchachos que salen de escuela. Entonces, ¿qué pasa? Que si no tienen un lugar donde lleguen a jugar básquetbol, a hacer natación, a correr, a jugar voleibol, después de escuela o antes de escuela se van a ir a hacer vandalismo. Entonces, es mejor que empiecen una área y terminen una área bien terminada de todo a todo, no que las dejen con pedazos sin terminar. Esa es mi opinión. Gracias.
Gracias. Rosita was saying that she agrees with that comment about the concern that if you pay attention, a lot of times the government builds housing, low income in not so good areas instead of building them in everywhere throughout the city, and certain the areas of the city have very nice parks where other communities do not have nice parks. For example, in her community, they're building a new high school, and there's currently there aren't any plans to build any type of recreational space for them, and that's not acceptable for them, because for community members and youth especially need a place to go to have a safe place to engage in recreational activities. Because if not, then that leads into vandalism and other types of negative behavior. So she agrees with that concern.
Thank you.
Thank you. Gracias. All right, just to go through the chat a little bit more, I don't see any more raised hands. So there's a question about the project area. I meant to add the area map to this slide deck, but I didn't. But it's on our website and our draft plan. It goes down the south. It goes as far south as Brundage, and then it kind of goes. No, it goes past MLK. It goes a little bit further than that, and then it goes the southern area of Old Town Kern, and then all the way up to I think 38th Street, and then kind of on the west side it's F, and then it kind of cuts in and goes down Chester. So those are just give you a rough idea of the boundaries, but you can look at a map on our website as well. And then can we have more parks and trails? Yeah, those are both fundable projects. And there are proposed projects that many people have mentioned that will be added to the list, and again, will be vetted at future meetings. Will this be more focused on downtown? No. I mean, any project in the a project area can be considered. So again, through this, the point of this additional outreach is to further vet possible areas where projects can be located.
Cecilia ha dado un resumen de los límites del proyecto, que incluye el lugar de downtown hasta la calle 34 y también va a la comunidad de Old Town Kern por la Baker y la Kentucky. Y después viene hasta abajo de la Martin Luther King Boulevard hasta Brundage. Y de allí va de Brundage a Chester, pero pueden mirar el mapa en el sitio de web. Aquí hubo un comentario sobre si se van a enfocar solamente en el centro de Bakersfield. Cecilia dice que no, que por eso estamos haciendo estos talleres para identificar otros lugares y otros proyectos que se puedan, donde puedan desarrollar los proyectos que no sea dentro del centro de Bakersfield.
Just another comment on the map area. I don't really see a question there. And then areas west of 99 should also have, otherwise it's, yeah, there's affordable housing throughout the city. You know, they gotta understand the point of TCC is about revitalizing a focused area, and affordable housing just happens to be one of the projects that can be funded under this program. So, you know, again, it's just something to consider and evaluate. So I'm just explaining how the program works and that it is a project that can be funded.
Había un comentario de que las casas también los hogares accesibles deben de también ser construidos en el oeste de Bakersfield, y Cecilia dice que sí. La cosa de aquí es de que este proyecto es para una área enfocada solamente, y pues claro, de todos modos, las viviendas accesibles es una estrategia del que la comunidad puede desarrollar un proyecto.
Okay, and I see, thanks for the links, Adam, to the Taxpayers Trails Plan and the some other information. We'll definitely look at that. Thank you. Just some comments. Oh, great. Okay, somebody's saying they're finally understanding. Yeah, just TCC is very complex. You really can't attend one meeting and know it all. So really, you know, if you want to be a part of the TCC program, it's a long haul. I mean, it's a 5 to 6 year program. And really the community outreach is supposed to happen all from now through application and through implementation. So we definitely need some committed community members who wants their voice at the table, and to really, and I encourage you to, you know, educate yourself. We'll have these meetings, but really it's going to take some, you know, sacrifice of your time and your own encouraging your knowledge. I'm here, the city's here to help however we can to encourage. But again, like Emma says, it's a community plan, and I need community participation, and we're trying to gather it as much as it can, but we can only control it if you show up. You can only have a voice if you show up. So I'm just going to keep repeating that. So again, Emma can interpret it, and I'll look for more questions.
Había un comentario de que hasta ahorita están entendiendo el programa de TCC, y Cecilia dice que sí, este programa es muy complejo, muy es un poco pues difícil de entender, porque incluye diferentes partes como las viviendas, el desarrollo económico, pero y también este es un plan que es a largo plazo, es un plan que va a durar de 5 a 6 años, y por eso se necesita la comunidad que esté comprometida a seguir el proceso de este programa, porque como hemos dicho, el programa tiene que ser desarrollado y dirigido por la comunidad. Sus opiniones y sus comentarios son muy valiosos para diseñar cómo se va a ver este programa, y se necesita que esté en la comunidad en cada parte del programa, no solamente en el desarrollo de ideas, sino también en la identificación de proyectos y después para implementar y construir los proyectos. Este programa va a ser exitoso solamente con la cooperación de la comunidad, por eso se necesita que todos participen y que vengan a las juntas.
Thank you. There's a question of where people currently submit their plans. Again, we're gonna talk about that more at the next meeting. So yeah, I'll talk about, we're gonna talk about not only current projects and plans that we've already heard, but also give people, realize we're reaching more new people every day. So give people a chance to talk about other opportunities and projects. So, I mean, that's the whole point of doing this additional outreach, and why I appreciated the state's, during COVID, we were just so restricted to reach people. So I'm so thankful that we're able to do this and just reach more. So thank you.
Hubo una pregunta de cómo se van a poder mandar los proyectos para consideración. Dice Cecilia que esta es información que van a proveer para la siguiente junta, y igual que también van a dar información sobre los proyectos que ya han sido mandados para consideración. Y por eso ella está muy contenta de que el Estado ha dado esta extensión, porque va a dar la oportunidad de que se desarrollen los proyectos y que todos puedan decir qué es lo que gustan ver al final del plan.
There's some other off-topic questions. We're running out of time. It's already 1 o'clock, so I'm just gonna stick to just general TC program questions, just for time's sake. And if you do have additional questions on other issues, we can let you know who the best person is to contact. Yeah, Empress, I agree. Bring more. I want to see, we had 29 people at our last meeting. I want to see double that amount. So everybody here needs to come and bring their friends or their neighbors. So, I mean, the best, the more, the better.
Otra cosa que, I'm sorry, Cecilia, otra cosa que dijo Cecilia que se me olvidó decir es que sí se va a necesitar la ayuda de ustedes para aprender sobre el programa, para que estén listos y para contestar y involucrarse en el programa. I just added the piece of self-learning so that everyone can be involved. And I would like to add that Leadership Council can support in that learning if there's any opportunity to hold workshops or trainings, which I'm trying to think moving forward how we can support to ensure everyone's informed on how the process works and how the program looks like, so we can all make the best decisions moving forward. El Consejo de Liderazgo puede apoyar en esos entrenamientos y ayuda para aprendizaje. Y ahorita estoy tratando de pensar en cómo podemos organizarnos para dar esos entrenamientos para que todos tengamos la misma información y podamos hacer las decisiones, podamos hacer decisiones informadas.
Thank you, Emma. Yeah, I didn't really see any more questions, just general comments. So I appreciate that. I appreciate the positivity. I appreciate the excitement. I mean, we really need to generate some excitement around this, and people can understand. I mean, we will definitely try to get as many projects there for consideration. But again, there's only a finite number of funds, but we definitely want to get whatever projects that people see as their priority, that those, ultimately make it to our application. So, and the more people we can have, the better. So I wanted to thank everybody for their time. If your email's in the chat, I'll definitely add you on our contact list if you're not there already. So you'll find out hopefully early next week. I might even try to sit, but we probably won't have flyers. Usually we try to get flyers out at least 2 weeks ahead of time, so that way there's plenty of time to get people, to encourage people to go. So that will be our goal. Like I get, it will be in the latter part of August. So we'll try to get a date nailed down and a location and share it with everybody here, and everybody can bring their neighbor.
Muchas gracias a todos por acompañarnos. Estamos aquí para apoyarlos y ya que tengamos una fecha para la junta de agosto, vamos a tratar de dar el folleto para anunciar la junta, aunque sea 2 semanas con anticipación para que todas podamos compartir el folleto y traer gente de nuestra comunidad y nuestros vecinos, amigos y para que nos acompañen en este programa.
All right, well, thank you, everybody.
Gracias a todos.
Gracias, adiós, hasta la vista, pronto.
Gracias.
Thank you.